Hey everybody, somewhere along the line I believe I promised you a gear video on my Osprey pack that I used on my through hike last year that of course it ended short after 930 miles, but I think I got enough use out of this pack to be able to talk about it for you. Alright, let me move this over a little bit here. Okay, so this is the Atmos 65 AG. Means it's 65 liters, and it's got this anti-gravity suspension in it, and a kind of a hip belt that's kind of integrated, if you will. All right, so that it kind of wraps around and creates a suspension and lifts the pack away from the body, so you can get some good airflow through it. I've got some pros and some cons that I'll go through on this pack as we talk. Starting off, let me see. I'll go through the pros first, and I'll throw some cons in as I go as they apply. This pack is a high quality pack, very well constructed. It's very durable. It was pretty cost effective. I think if I remember right, I'd put it in my Amazon cart, left it sit there for a while, and then all of a sudden it went on sale. So I picked it up for just under $200, but I think it was about a $250 backpack. This is not an ultralight pack. It's built like an expedition pack, but lighter. So I would put it in the lightweight category. I think it's about 4 to 4.5 pounds, if I remember right. The pack itself. Starting with the straps here, these straps are very substantial. They're thicker, have more padding on them, and are more durable than the Osprey 58 and 48 liter packs that were more lightweight packs that you saw out on the trail. The storage on this is set up, okay, so that you have an entry at the top. You have a brain here, of course, then some compression straps. Let's see, there we go. All right, you have a brain. The brain can come off, and you have a secondary flap system here that is in place. I've got one of the female ends of the latch out of the buckle out here. The other one kind of goes in this little pocket, and then it goes into the original strap. So you have a brainless option here for this pack, which is nice. The main compartment itself, if you can see here, is cinched down, and it's really nice that this is set up. You grab this little tab and you pull, and it will expand out with one hand. This opening. The main compartment itself has a compression system in it, okay, to be able to do some extra compression. It has a hydration sleeve and I guess a hooked looped point to be able to keep the bladder, if you will. Like if I used a big zip, I could actually keep it from sliding down further. It would actually hold it in place, which is kind of nice. Since I've got this turned around, the brain itself has two pockets. There's a kind of a top flat pocket, which has a place to be able to hook some keys on, or some like a wallet. I actually hooked my wallet into here. I kept my AWOL guide up here in a plastic bag, and my little hitchhiking sign, if you will, kind of went up in there. And then you have another main compartment in your brain, which is more substantial, which at times is my snack bag. I would also put, in addition to snacks, my water filter up there at times, my extra water bag. There were quite a few things that could actually go up into here. Gloves, hats, even sometimes I throw my Patagonia long sleeve zip, quarter zip up in there when I needed to shed it off. This also has some pad straps down here. Some people will cut those off. I kept them on because I actually used it to I'd wrap my Tyvek's ground cloth around my Z seat, and that's where it would travel. And a couple of times when the tent was really soaked, I would hook it on back there. Now this is a sleeping bag compartment, and there's actually a shelf. Now I have mine disconnected, but there is a shelf that you can go in here, and it latches in. I didn't use that because I had a trash compactor bag in the entire setup. So I disconnected that, so I didn't use it. Now it was nice to still have this down here because sometimes if I forgot something, I could throw it in there. Sometimes my pack cover would go in there, and things like that. Okay, on this front side, one of the nice things about this pack to help keep things organized, you have two side zippers on each side. Okay, they do not connect. They're sealed off one from another. Okay, and they're underneath this front mesh pocket. This front mesh pocket also has a compression strap. It was nice to be able to organize things. I could put all the stuff on this side. I put my toilet paper, my hand sanitizer, my trowel, bug juice, all those kind of extra things. On this side I put and my extra Ziploc bags, my stove, my fuel, just my toothpaste, all sorts of odd and ends would just end up in this side of the bag at all. Okay, so pros, once again, high quality. These outside zippers, the stretch front pocket, the pad straps, all these are pros. This bottom entry is a pro. Having a brain, I took it as a pro for me, although some people took it off. I considered taking it off, but I never did because I used it so much. The suspension itself, once again, was very, very comfortable. Okay, but this is where some of the cons come in. Okay, this pack started squeaking after a couple hundred miles, and you can maybe, and if you can kind of hear, it doesn't really, I can't really duplicate it that well. A little bit, multiply that sound about by 10 times. So it was pretty squeaky. That went on for quite a while, and I think maybe about the 600-mile point it stopped. So it did squeak quite a bit. So that was kind of one of my cons on this particular pack. For the torso adjustment, I mean, this is pretty cool. It has this torso adjustment here, and there's actually these marks. Okay, so they're on each side. They're about an inch apart, and up underneath the suspension here, there's a little clasp that you flip, and it releases the teeth. Okay, and you do it on both sides, and then this whole suspension will move up and down. Okay, and you can set it where you want to. I had started it out on the highest setting. Then I felt like I put it back. I put it down to about 1 inch down. Tried that for a little while, heading towards Neal's Gap, and then I ended up with it all the way back up to the top. And one of the reasons, now that ended up being the right setting for me, but one of the things that happened is on the right side of the pack here, this one would never grip correctly. So this one would stay down, this one would go, and so what happened is this suspension was cockeyed, and so I had the pack riding lopsided on my back, which was a little uncomfortable. I never could get this one to stay; it would always creep back up to that top setting. So I just put both of them up there and just left it, and that worked out okay for me. Let's see. One of my other cons on this comes into the hip belt. One of the things they told me at mountain crossings is don't let this Velcro in here get wet. See how this works is you can be able to have this wrap around your body better. You can actually adjust this. So you come in here and you have to separate the Velcro, okay, and then you can pull this out or you can push it in. Well, one of the problems is with it out, which I needed when I started because of my girth, that was great. So if you're a heavier set guy, this is a great pack for you. Okay, but then what happened is, okay, you get this set, and then as I would be cranking it down with it being wet, this thing would actually let loose and it would pull out. And that was very, very frustrating. This one was the worst one. It was actually this left one that would always give way. So that was, I think Osprey needs to figure out how to get these things to better, I guess, once you adjust them, that they stay in a fixed position. Along the lines of the hip belt, these pockets, while they look great and big and puffy and useful, I found them not so. When I first was wearing the pack, I could get and by the way, I love these loops on these with these little spreaders on them. Very easy to get it open, but I had a really hard time getting it closed when it was brand new. And there's times when I had to take the pocket off to be able to close it back up. I ended up just carrying my action cam in this one, and a lighter and a pocket knife over in this one. I never did put any snacks in them, which is probably one of the reasons I use the brain. Maybe if I'd had places to put my snacks down here, I may have gotten rid of the brain when I got rid of my winter gear. One of the problems with this is, and maybe it might be hard to see, the hip belt itself, okay, encroaches into this open cavity. Okay, because this pocket is built around the actual belt, and so I mean you don't really have. I mean that's my finger width is about all I have up there on this top part of the zipper, and down here, you know, if I can get 4 fingers in, but I can't get it zipped. Really, about 2 fingers worth of depth is all you get if you expect to be able to close this afterwards. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of capacity, I guess is the word I'm looking for. These are very low capacity pockets. One of my other things that was frustrating to me, the particular material they used loves to wick moisture from the air. So when it's raining, your pack gets wet even in our pack cover. When you're sweating, it just wicks the sweat onto the pack. At I think at Chestnut Shelter, we had fog come in one night, and inside, and then I put the pack dry in the tent. I laid some of my dry clothes for the next day on top of it. Went to sleep, got up and after the fog came in, at 100% humidity, this pack was wet the next morning in my tent, and the clothes that were touching it also were wet from wicking the moisture into it. So that was one of the downsides. So let's see. I think that's about all that I have as far as a lot of my pros and cons. What would I give this pack for a grade? I give it about a minus, B plus. I mean, it is a strappy pack. A lot of people cut a lot of the straps off. But you know, if you're buying a pack that's not an ultralight pack, and you're making just little adjustments to cutting, you know, pieces of strap off, I mean, how much weight in comparison to the actual base weight of this pack are you really saving? Probably not a whole lot, but you do maybe get rid of some of the strappiness of it. I mean, I added these little bungee things here. These held my flip flops on the outside of the pack because there just wasn't room for them when I started out at Springer, because it just so I started out with you might remember, I started off with a hammock system and under quilt, and I cubed this thing out and didn't have much room in it for those. So this next season here coming up for my flip flop, I am going to use a ULA catalyst. I wanted to be able to try something different, something a little lighter weight. Had I not had been forced off medically off the trail this year, I probably would have finished with this pack. It was doing great for me. So, okay, so that is the Atmos 65 anti-gravity pack, and I mean, it's a winner, but it is different, and there are some issues. The squeaking, the moisture wicking, the low capacity on these pockets, and the Velcro not staying for the adjustments are kind of the big disappointments that I had. So, okay, everybody, we'll see you down the trail. Let's go hike on.